Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about why Protestants don't become Catholics. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti, Amen. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper into saecula saeculorum. Amen. Now, this question might baffle and befuddle and discombobulate traditional Catholics or cradle Catholics who've always been Catholic. It's like, because you're like, it's so obvious that the Catholic Church is the true church founded by Jesus Christ, along with the splintered Orthodox. We have apostolic succession, unbroken lineage, go to that episode. We have the early church fathers, the apostolic fathers and the early church fathers like Ignatius and later on Augustine that show that the early church was staunchly Catholic in its form, proto-Catholic, and that obviously all Catholics are Christians, even though what the Protestants think that Catholics are not Christians. And so we have Cardinal Newman, who was a convert. He was an Anglican convert to Catholicism in the 19th century, Saint Cardinal Newman. And he has a phrase, those who know history cease to be Protestant. And so a lot of traditional Catholics who are raised cradle Catholics, or even non-traditional, it's like, I don't get it. Well, look, certainly this is an episode for you Protestants or Protestant turned converts. Definitely post in the comments, because I can only speculate because I've been a cradle Catholic my whole life. Now, what can I speculate? Well, look, a lot of Protestants are raised in an anti-Catholic milieu. Now, if you don't know the history of America here, America was always very anti-Catholic. If you look, yes, Maryland was founded by Lord Calvert, who was a Catholic, and it was a Catholic colony. But as a whole, America was white Anglo-Saxon and certainly Protestant. We all know the history of the Puritans and the Pilgrims and so forth. But as a whole, colonialism, and really up to the first influx of immigrants in the 1840s, which have been Irish and German, was very Protestant. I mean, we even had anti-Catholic political groups. And so with the big influx of all these Catholics, the Polacks and the Italians and so forth, a lot of that didn't go away. Kennedy was the first and only, well, arguably the only Catholic president. And even when he was running for president, he had to deal with that. And so certainly there are a lot of Protestants who are raised thinking that the Catholic Church is evil. It is evil. It's a corporate entity that is evil. The Jesuits run everything. The Jesuits tried to kill Lincoln. You know, they're steeped in this anti-Catholicism bigotry that they never question. They've always assumed that all Catholics are going to hell because we're in the Catholic Church. That's just all they know. So, I mean, can you say that they have a blind spot, right? Like a blind spot in their mind for this? Certainly you can say that. And the big question is, do they have invincible ignorance? Do they have invincible ignorance, right? You can't blame the Sherpa in Nepal for not knowing Christ. But in this day and age with the internet, and we're 2 clicks away, and we really cover this on the episode on there's no excuse for you to be an ignorant Catholic and know nothing about your faith. Can you espouse invincible ignorance as a Protestant? Let's say you're a Baptist or evangelical megachurch person, when you can click and type in, what are the basic teachings of the Catholic Church? You can go to Amazon and buy the Catechism of the Catholic Church. You know Catholicism. You can't say that you don't know about it. It's the largest Christian group, I'm not going to say denomination because we're not a denomination, in the world, and certainly in the United States. So how can it be? I don't know. I mean, if you listen to people, certain theologians will say that yes, even Protestants have invincible ignorance because they're so steeped in their anti-Catholic bigotry. I don't know. I'm not a theologian. The way I look at it is, yeah, I mean, look, we're all kind of steeped in some sort of blind spot, hubris, arrogance, but we can overcome it if we're open-minded to truth. And so if I have to lean somewhere on this argument, I would say, no, you can't claim invincible ignorance if you're a Protestant. You know, you drive by Catholic churches all the time. You know at the least the Catholic Church is old. Yes, you might think that Constantine created it and that we worship statues and we worship idolatry by worshiping statues, we worship Mary, all this nonsense. But this is something you choose to believe, and you choose not to look into it to clearly see that it's not true at all. Like I said, I mentioned in the episode, we don't have a secret doctrine, just read the catechism. But you choose that. So I don't know. You know, this is one of those episodes where I honestly don't know. This is why I would appreciate your comments. I think that Protestants go one of two roads. I think, like we mentioned on the episode, Why Do So Many Protestants Church Hop? I think you have ones who will always be Protestant. And even though there's a part of them that knows that there may be some truth in the Catholic Church, they're not going to investigate it because either parental pressures or family pressures, I can't be Catholic, or just they're in this group think of, the 10th Baptist Church on Main Street, and they would never contemplate it, and they take certain pleasure and just not even bother to look it up and just keep believing stereotypes that the Catholic Church is run by the devil and where, the whore of Babylon and all these things, and they won't bother to look it up. Then you have the other Protestants who are pursuing truth and are more open-minded, and then eventually, as we mentioned in the church hopping video, they might end up in the Catholic Church. I don't know. I can't understand it because I'm a cradle Catholic, but please, Protestants, help me understand why you're not in the Catholic Church. And please don't post comments because you worship statues. Because, again, go to my episode. I've got 1,000 Catholic blogs and YouTube channels about how we don't worship statues. I want you to give me a legitimate reason why you're not in RCIA on the road to conversion. I would like to hear from you. And any of you converts, please post in the comments as well why you're Catholic and what brought you finally back to Holy Mother Church. Because remember, every Christian in the world, at one point, their ancestors were all Catholic because the Catholic Church was the only true church, the only church for a good 1,000 years before the Orthodox Schism, and certainly the only church until Martin Luther in the 16th century. Guys, post in the comments, let me know what you think. Please hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Share with like-minded people. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.